The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. Brian Haynes alongside in the Wicked Weed studio. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different. Yeah. Are we dancing?
Yeah, baby.
Is this the time on Sprockets when we dance?
This is the time of Sprockets where we dance. And we're blinking again, so I don't know what that means.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. So here's the story. We're on the air. Hopefully, we're out there. We're in front of people. We're doing things. It's all exciting. However, it's doing things, and we're going to get through the show.
We're trying to get through the show.
It's just the two of us. The fact that we're on the air is a miracle in the first place. So anyway,
it's like we sound like we're in a tunnel. Are we in a tunnel?
Are we in a tunnel? Or is the TV too loud?
Probably.
Is that the problem here?
Yeah.
When we turn down the television?
There we go.
Maybe we'll get a little less of an echo.
Yeah.
This is all thrilling for all of you. I know. Yes, I am back from my little vacation down in Atlanta. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, a Game 7 coming up in the NBA conference conference semifinals over in the Eastern Conference. We got the Bucks and the Nets going to a Game 7. We'll possibly have two other Game 7s as well coming up. We'll get into what's going on in the NBA tonight. Last night, I felt like the old man once again going home and watching golf. Primetime golf, actually really, really entertaining. U.S. Open is going on down in San Diego. We'll get you up to date on what's going on out there at Torrey Pines. Also, we'll talk some NFL. Yeah. You have found a list of things that apparently Bleacher Report believes
Bleacher Report put out an article basically stating that one thing each team will live to regret so far this offseason. And we're going to go through those today.
Okay. I have no idea what to do about the bit rate. That is above my pay grade. I'm not sure what is going on with the stream today. Hopefully it'll.
It seems to be going in and out, guys. So I'm not sure what's happening here, but we're going to try our best to just make sure we get through a show.
Right. We did nothing but hit the on-air button, so I have no idea. Anyhow, we're going to get into it. And, I don't know, Jeremy. I have no idea what the bit rate is. Is that the rate at which I can buy bits? Not quite positive on that one. Anyhow, we're going to get into it here with, first, can I tell you about my experience and what I learned from the Atlanta trip? What I learned was, and by the way, it was great meeting up with Alex Sanner and Kevin Vick down in Atlanta, sort of a sportsocracy a little sportsocracy gathering of sorts. Wish we could have had more time to spend together, but it was a whole lot of fun down in Atlanta. And, I learned that when you're going to take two 10-year-olds to a ball game, don't make their second ball game immediately the day after. The kids were so tired on day two. They got their bobbleheads and they checked out. They were just done. So, unfortunately, it got to the point where we actually had the conversation with Joshua no, I'm not going to let you walk back to the hotel by yourself. At least he did have that of, I don't want to make you and Joe leave the game because you guys really want to stay. Right. Well, we're kind of stuck here, buddy. We're not going to let you walk back to the hotel by yourself. That's not going to happen. And I have no idea what he was even thinking with that.
Yeah, I can totally walk in the middle of Atlanta. Dad, I can go home to the hotel all by myself. Everything will be fine. I won't get snatched up or nothing.
Right. Yeah, Andy was worn out from the first game because she just recovered from her surgery or is still in the process of recovering from her surgery, so she couldn't make the second game with us. So I had no other option other than to leave the lumps on a log. And just go. Because it got to the point where, the Red Sox are doing really good and my kids aren't even paying attention. I'm like, what's the score, guys? It's 2-1. 2-1. No, you missed it by a factor of 2. It's now 4-1. Let's just leave. If you really wanted to be upset about it, and you really cared and wanted us to stay at the ball game, sit there and shut the fuck up. But that would have made me a bad for doing that in public. And so, anyhow.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyhow, it was a lot of fun. But you had a ball game experience.
Yeah, I actually went to my first Asheville Tourist last night game, which was a lot of fun. I went with my 13-year-old daughter, who actually said that she had a lot more fun than she thought she was going to have. I enjoyed the game. It's really cool, little neat place to go watch a ball game. Cheap, right on the field. It's just neat. It's a little, single A high ball. Like I don't think you can beat that kind of experience. Have a beer, have a hot dog. Bree had, my daughter had a funnel cake for the first time. She'd never had one before. And that blew my mind, and it was pretty crazy. But we had a good time, real good time.
Well, that's good. First funnel cake is, that's how every diabetes story begins.
Yeah.
Had my first funnel cake, and now I've had one every day for the last 2 months.
She got through that one. She got about halfway through before she realized it was too sugary, but then got the Dipping Dots, which was 10 times sweeter, like 20 minutes later.
The Dipping Dots, yeah. I imagine it's a little more affordable at the tourist ballpark, or at least it was the last time I went. Yeah, you gotta watch your intake at the baseball game. Now, the first, kids' first game, we had to go all out, and we got them whatever the hell they wanted, and that was a mistake. We ended up spending way too much at the concession stands for that trip. But it's only your first time. You only get your first time one time. So, anyhow, it was a whole lot of fun. We left during game 2. I missed the grand slam. Christian Arroyo hits a grand slam. We're down by 1 run. It's 7-6 in like the bottom of the 7th inning, bottom of the 8th inning, something like that. He hits the grand slam to give us the lead. Never seen one. Never seen a grand slam in person before. And by the way, the damn ball landed 6 rows in front of where we would have been seating.
Man. They could have seen a grand slam just coming right at him.
Yep.
Would have been a great experience.
Look.
But just 10-year-old.
And Andy looks at me. She goes, "It's not like you would have had a chance to catch the ball anyway." I'm like, no, that's not the point. Like, do you remember? Because I had Big Poppy hit a walk-off 2-run home run in Fenway Park right in front of us, and it was phenomenal. I mean, we were 10 rows away from the ball dropping on that one, but you remember the vantage point of seeing the ball come straight at you. And it's something I missed out on. But all in all, it was still a good trip. Now, let's get into what happened last night in the NBA. The Milwaukee Bucks beat the Brooklyn Nets 104-89. Kevin Durant continuing to be the only thing putting on a show right now for the Brooklyn Nets. I asked Jeremy yesterday if he thought Kevin Durant had to score 50 points for this team to win. He said no. Last night kind of proved that maybe he does. Maybe he has to score 50 a night.
I think it's pretty crazy. I mean, obviously the Giannis and Middleton showed up last night to play. I mean, I think at this point with James Harden being hurt, and he's obviously hurt. I mean, he's gaming. Got to give him respect for. But the thing is, Kevin Durant needs to have a 50-point triple-double for them to win. I pretty much nailed that on the head a couple days ago when I said he was going to have a 50-point triple-double. He had a 49-point triple-double. I'm just throwing that out there. But it's crazy. So I don't know what's going to happen with that series. I really thought Brooklyn was going to win that series, no doubt. I still think Game 7 in Brooklyn, they're going to be able to pull it out. I would have, if I was Steve Nash, actually sat James Harden Game 6. Let him rest, get back to Game 7, and see what they could have done. So I don't know.
Do you think he put the series in danger by playing him though? I mean, if he had got hurt, obviously, that would have been a problem.
That's going to be one of those narratives that are spoke about, especially if Brooklyn loses Game 7. Is going to be what should Steve Nash have sat James Harden in Game 6 and let him get it a couple extra days of rest. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. And like I said, I still think that Brooklyn can win in Brooklyn. If I was putting money on it, I would say Brooklyn's going to win Game 7. Would it surprise me if the Bucks win Game 7? Absolutely not.
No, it wouldn't be a surprise. I figured this series was going to be over in 5 games, and then of course the things happen. Everybody's getting hurt. I saw, what was the stat yesterday? 8 All-Stars have gotten hurt in this postseason, which is by far more than any has ever happened before in a postseason.
Yeah.
And I get it. It sucks. But I think this is just kind of the way the NBA is today. I mean, you don't have durable players in the NBA anymore.
We talked about.
I mean, there are guys. There are some guys, but most times, everybody's.
And I disagree just a little bit because they've asked these guys to play a lot of basketball over the last 10 months.
No doubt.
And that's not going to change because I don't know. I mean, me and Jeremy talked about this, especially on the ESPN radio show.
Yeah.
92.9, 80, and 1400 AM, and all the iHeartRadio apps. Make sure you join us today. It's going to be me and Tank at 3 o'clock today. But we've got a situation where now we're going in this. Now the Olympics are coming on. Mm-hmm. You know, the Olympics would end in August 7th or 8th, I believe. They're talking about slating the season for the NBA start in October 19th.
Right.
So, first of all, we're not going to have anybody at the Olympics. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to play. It's going to be pretty bad. It's going to be, and we can talk about that. We talked about it a little bit. I think it's a perfect opportunity for maybe the NBA to send over some young stars.
But do you care?
I mean, it's the Olympics. I care.
You do?
I'm Team USA.
Okay.
Let's go. Red, white, and blue, baby.
I mean, I get it.
But what I'm saying is
bragging rights.
I think that they need to, honestly, they need to postpone the season. They need to postpone the season another month, and they need to play less games. I think if they said we'll start let's just say they said instead of mid-October, we started maybe early November. Mm-hmm. Let's maybe give that extra 3 weeks, let's say, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like it would give them, and maybe played, what is 3 weeks worth of games in the NBA? Is it that many?
Yeah,
they played 72 this year. Let's say they play, so let's make it 65 game schedule.
Right.
I think what you'll end up having is more people playing instead of sitting out, and I think you'll have more things. They need to do something because what's happening now is going to be bad for this game. If they continue down this path where they're trying to fit in there, they're going to basically be asking them to play 3 seasons in 2 years, and you can't do that. That's basically what they're almost asking them.
No, they can. They
can, but you're going to have the same situation that we're in right now where by the time you get to the playoffs, you're going to have 9 freaking All-Stars miss time.
Right.
That's where we're at right now. If Chris Paul misses a game, there's going to be a total of 9 All-Stars that have missed a game in these playoffs. Mm-hmm. That's not good for the basketball. No. Not good for the basketball.
No, it's not good for the product. But is changing the schedule worth it again? You eventually have to do this. You eventually have to rip the Band-Aid off and get back to your normal
then you're
schedule.
Just going to have the same thing happen. And you're going to have guys get hurt, and you're going to miss time, and then players are going to take days off. Mm-hmm. And so when they go to Charlotte, when they go to Atlanta, when they go to these small market teams, none of these guys are going to play.
I think they're stuck. I really do think they're stuck. And you might as well just get it over with while you can. Because the players are going to adjust one way or the other. We saw that this season. We saw it time and time again this year of, guys are going to, the load management was worse than it's ever been. And all of it. Well, it's because of the short layoff that they had. And they're going to do it again next year.
It's going to happen.
Then it's going to get back to normal.
Right,
but I honestly don't know if we're ever going to get back to normal.
No, I don't believe
because the players are allowed to do this, and that's I don't know what you can do to stop it. I don't know that you can legislate that.
I don't
into
either.
The game of your stars are going to play. Well, no, if they're finding out that they can only play 50, 60 games a year, still get the accolades, still be in the running for MVP and all of that. They can load manage themselves right into a mediocre product. I think the NBA has already done that.
Yeah.
And now I don't really blame the playoffs on the injuries.
You don't?
I don't.
You've had 9 All-Stars miss time.
I don't care.
So the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard or something, that if they end up winning Game 7, that's something you want to see. Philadelphia without Joel Embiid, that's what you want to see that.
No, I don't want to see that.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. They need these guys in there to play.
Yeah. Okay. So, but what you're saying is 3 extra weeks off in the season or in the off season.
I don't know what's going to work. It would help. It would help seriously if they want to go to a full 82-game season and cut some of these guys off, especially the guys that are going to the Olympics. You're not going to have that.
Right.
You're going to have the same thing happen again next year.
Okay.
Because it's just we're not in any position. I don't know. It seems like we're just keep going down a bad path, and we're going to have the same thing happen. And load management and people taking time off is not what's going to happen. It's not good at all.
Right.
I think with a more condensed schedule, I think you'll have to play more. The guys will have to play more because it'll mean a little bit more. You know what I mean? You can't just take 20 games off and expect your team to make the playoffs.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and also these extra freaking games with the play-in tournaments and all this stuff. Like, the NBA is in deep trouble. They have a serious problem, and it started with the pandemic, and it's just they haven't figured out the right path to do this at all. Sooner or later, they're going to have to figure out.
What I'm saying is, sooner or later, you're going to get back on regular schedule.
Well, they would.
And that's next offseason.
That's next offseason, so you're playing a whole nother year with these guys where you're talking about another playoffs next year where they're probably going to have the same amount of injuries.
Well, they have the
where your biggest star that you have is getting another year older. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so, LeBron is coming in at age 38 in 2 years or age 39 in 2 years.
Right, but he's not going to play. I mean, he's not going to play the full amount of games.
Yeah.
He's not going to play the full load.
Yeah.
Because he knows. He knows it doesn't matter. The random Sacramento game in the middle of the season has no bearing on where they're going to end up in the regular season.
Problem. And that's where I see the problem. I think if you had I don't know. I feel like they would play more games if there was a more condensed schedule. You may be right. But that's the problem with the franchises are not going to do that. And I honestly think in a more condensed, I think what the NBA has a problem with is they look at it and they say, we got to have more games, we got to have more games. What I feel like they're missing out on is that if they played less games, I think they would make more money because more people would go to those games because more of the stars would show up. I'm kind of playing the long game on that idea that I think that in the long run.
And I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I am right there with you. Because what's the one thing that hurts the NBA regular season and Major League Baseball?
Yeah.
It's too many games.
Yeah.
The games don't matter.
Yeah.
The games in the NFL draw, games in college football draw because every game's important.
Yeah.
And if you have fewer games, obviously the games.
These guys should be playing. I'm sorry. I don't get it. If you're making. And there's a couple guys, Kevin Bickford, one has definitely mentioned it. I mean, if you're making millions and millions of dollars a year, get your ass out there and play a game. Like, I'm sorry. It's pathetic. But the NBA has allowed these guys to do that by just letting them decide. And Jeremy mentioned this, hour and a half before game time, the NFL has to have their things in. The NBA, 5 minutes before the game, you can say, I don't want to play today.
Right.
That's something, that's the problem with these guys. You have to take that ability to do this away. You have to punish them for taking load management games. You have to punish teams, and you need to punish these guys, and you need to fine them until we get down to this.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I don't know.
Kevin Vick says he just watched his daughter played 5 softball games in 2 days in 94-degree heat. Yeah, we get it. I mean, it's a slog, but once you start making that money, it becomes, I don't have to do that anymore. I'm so good. I am so highly paid.
Yeah.
I don't have to do that anymore.
And
I don't have to show up for, like I said, the random Sacramento game in the middle of the season because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm with all of you. I hate it as much as y'all do. The problem is I don't know how we stop it.
Yeah.
And I don't know
that stop. They're just going to do what they want to do. They're going to play. The season's going to happen. We're just going to be in the same position next year in the playoffs.
Right.
I hope not. Hopefully, you can't. I can't predict the future. If I could predict the future, we'd all have a lot of money, and
and we wouldn't have somebody to do with the technical issue.
We wouldn't have this technical issue right here where we're coming in and out and losing watchers every second. Anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. You can't see what's going to happen, but it's just.
I'm still back to the Milwaukee Brooklyn series here. Game 7 is coming up, and I will tell you, I'm still waiting for the Bucks to hit fire from long range. They haven't done it as much as they did it in the regular season. And I feel like at some point that's got to come back to fruition.
Yeah, and I think this is a win or get fired game from Mike Bundelhoser.
Of course it is. I've been saying that for weeks.
Yeah, you've been on that train. But it's been...
And it's not a train. It's not like I'm rooting for Mike Bundelhoser to get fired.
No. I'm saying, here's the thing that I've looked at during the series. He has zero ability to make any adjustments. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely terrible. I've watched... There was at least 2 games where Brook Lopez stayed in the game as a complete liability defensively for the longest time. And on those 2 times, when those 2 games, the Nets made a huge run. And it took him 5 minutes too long to realize what was going on. Mm-hmm. And you cannot do that in the playoffs. When you see that when you watch somebody become a liability and that team is exposing the liability and you don't change that, you're not a good coach. Yeah. And he will be coaching the Orlando Magic next year.
Okay. You calling your shot.
I think he'll get another job. He won't be coaching the Milwaukee Bucks next year.
Indiana? I can see him taking the Indiana
job. If Mark Jackson is not the head coach of Indiana, I'm burning this fucking building to the ground. I'm serious.
Yeah, I don't know that that's going to happen.
I know.
We all want to see it happen.
It just makes too much sense, right? Well, and here's the thing. We talk about Milwaukee, and I know I'm sure we'll get into this later on if they lose this game, but they can't do anything else. They don't have the ability. They traded away all their future assets to get Drew Holiday. They signed P.J. Tucker, midway through the season. What else can you do? You can't make a trade. No one's coming to Milwaukee. Right. You know what I mean? Like this was their shot. And if they lose in the second round, you're going to see that hole there.
Are you saying the window's closed?
Oh, it's definitely closed.
Wow. I don't agree with that.
Whoa, we got breaking news.
Breaking news.
Kemba Walker just got traded.
Do what?
Let's figure this out.
All right.
Hold on. Hopefully, I'm sure we'll buffer soon anyways. It'll give us some time to figure it out.
Kemba Walker being traded from the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are trading Kemba Walker, the number 16 overall pick in the 2021 draft and a 2025 second-round draft pick to Oklahoma City for Al Horford, Moses Brown, and a 2023 second-round pick.
That's a contract, Tom. They had to attach one. They had to put a first-round pick in there just to get rid of him, kind of like the Jared Goff for Matthew Stafford deal. Al Horford's not going to play a single second for the Celtics. He's going to retire. They'll cut him. Right. None of those players are coming back. That's just a complete dump on there. Right. That's just crazy.
That's
Brad Stevens pulling the ripcord on the whole Kemba Walker fiasco that was in Boston.
It is indeed. Wow. I am. The Celtics are all excited.
Yeah.
Al is back. Yeah.
Boston just went crazy for Al Horford coming back to the Celtics.
No, didn't.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen anyways. Isn't Oklahoma City's best player a point guard? Is it Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Yeah, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Is Oklahoma City just going to dump him too?
They could get a lot for him.
They're just going to dump him, and they'll get a first-round pick just for taking on that stupid contract for a week.
Wow. All right, so we'll have to do some background on that and figure out what all the ins and outs are. Kemba Walker going to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
And
you knew it was going to happen. That was the first story after Brad Stevens got the president of basketball operations gig. When Danny Ainge stepped aside, the first thing I saw was Kemba Walker's getting traded.
And Kevin Vick kind of nailed it for the Hornets. Isn't it kind of cool that they actually got Terry Rozier back in that fucking whole sign and trade deal? They come out kind of smelling like roses after everybody bashed them for letting Kemba go.
Right.
And now we got the Rookie of the Year, all kinds of, I say we as in we in the market, the royal we of this market. Wow, that's a big, I think Calvin Joyner just said it's the start of a purge in Boston. I think so. I think they need to, figure out what they're going to do. They just need to build the team around Tatum and Brown. Yep. They just need to figure out what else they can do now at this point. We got 2 young superstars. We have to build around them. Yep.
I mean, to me, it kind of mirrors the whole Philadelphia thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Philadelphia went out and gathered all of these draft picks, and, of course, they were god-awful. The Celtics were still competitive while they were trying to figure out who's going to be the star with all of these draft picks that we have. And you got Marcus Smart, you got Jaylen Brown, you got Jason Tatum. And Marcus Smart's going to get him something. And
I think they'll get rid of Marcus Smart. I agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. I think they'll get rid of Marcus Smart and then just start going from there.
Dame Lillard.
That would be big time right there.
Make a play for Dame Lillard?
They need to have a head coach here pretty soon before they start making deals like that. I'd like to see.
I'm going to say it, and this is something that would get me yelled at by Jeremy. He'll probably yell at me in the comments for it, but you get Dame Lillard, I don't give a shit who your coach is.
It's true.
I really don't. You give me if I can build a team with Dame Lillard, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum.
I like that team.
Make it happen some way or another. Now you're obviously going to have to put things around them, but
that's a good start
really
to me. As it would be a real good start to me. I just don't know if that happens. I mean, I don't know. I just don't. For some reason, I don't see Dame leaving Portland. I do. I see him get a one-way ticket out of town. I'm done with this. I have been the star here. Portland has taken me as high as I'm going to go. Because as good of a player as he is, he is a pretty big superstar in this league. But I feel like he could be bigger with a different team. Jeremy does agree with you. He thinks this is a start at the run for Lillard, and he thinks Horford will play for Boston. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, so I think that's exactly where they head with this.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll have more details on it this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene with me and Brian, since Jeremy is doing other things.
Jeremy's got the big move going on. He's got a lot.
He could obviously use his help technically here in the studio.
Yeah,
but we're trudging
he actually
forward.
says he knows what's wrong with it. It would just take a complete reboot, and we don't have the ability.
You and I don't have the ability. No doubt about it.
So that's fine. That's fine. So I know that's not our fault. We didn't do anything wrong necessarily.
This episode of the Sportsocracy actually being brought to you by the Motorola Razr. Being filmed in one eye.
Yeah.
76ers and the Hawks tonight in Game 6. Who you got?
Atlanta's going to win this game. Ben Simmons has become someone I look at and just say you just can't be on the floor. You can't. He misses. He can't shoot a free throw. He can't shoot the ball. He's great defensively.
Do you think they should sit him?
No, not sit him. I'm just saying that when the game comes down to it, if they're not up by 20 points, and let's be clear here, they were up by 26 just the other night, and they lost the game. And he's 4-14 from the free throw line. He can't be in the game at the end because he can't shoot. He can't shoot free throws, and they know it. They just foul. Why not? I would foul him every single time he touches the ball.
Right.
Every single time.
Right.
I wouldn't care. It's when it gets down to it, and I don't know what it is, and this is in Atlanta. If this game was, I just don't see, and Embiid is not 100%. And I thought in Game 5 what happened was because Game 4 he went 0 for 12. I think he tried to overplay in the first half of that game, and he kind of was done. They had 2 players score in the second half.
Right.
In an NBA playoff game.
Right.
And Doc Rivers. I know that I pointed that towards you because you've said this time and time again.
Yeah.
That outside of that Boston championship, Doc Rivers is not. Things tend to happen when Doc Rivers is your coach.
It's just great when when I'm sitting back and I can listen to these national radio shows and I can hear people say my words back to me of what made sense about taking a team who couldn't get it done in the playoffs and giving them a coach who couldn't get it done in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Why did that make sense? We all love Doc Rivers, but if you're saddled with it, I mean, I don't know, you just invite more on you. Could they have done better? Could they have found another coach that is better than Doc Rivers? No, probably not. But they're still stuck with that. Yeah. And it's just the marriage of these two things. And you thought, maybe 2 wrongs will make a right this time.
And it seemed to be working, and things started to come around, and The playoff basketball is so much different.
But the rest of the team has fallen apart. Yeah. That's the problem with the 76ers. Is Tobias Harris is not coming up big in situations. Ben Simmons can't hit free throws, and he's only taken 4 shots during a game. To me, that's the bigger problem. Yeah. It's not the free throws. It's the fact that Ben Simmons has only taken 4 shots a night. Yeah. I mean, I get it. You don't want him taking long-range shots. No, but I mean, he's a pretty big guy.
I know.
He needs to find a way to get to the basket.
Yeah.
You telling me that he can't find a way to get to the basket?
If he finds a way to get to the basket, then you just hammer him to the free throw line.
Right.
And then he goes 4 of 14.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a complete liability offensively. And then you're in that stupid situation where it's at the end of the game and you're subbing in and out offense, defense, and it's just the most. It's hard to watch.
It's hard to watch.
It's so hard to watch. And listen, I
don't feel like Atlanta's hard to watch. I think everybody's focusing too much on the 76ers and not enough on the Atlanta Hawks.
I firsthand experience from the first round, I underestimated how good they are as a team. But the thing is, Philadelphia is going to have to show a lot. I think if Philadelphia can win Game 6, they can win Game 7.
Yes. Because if they don't win Game 6, then there won't be a Game 7.
Well, obviously, jackass. I'm saying
just the way you said that was funny.
No, I'm just saying if they win this, I don't think they'll lose in Game 7. I think they'll win and win in Game 7.
I agree with you. This either ends tonight or it ends with Philadelphia winning.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like this goes.
Exactly.
The problem is I think there's a very good chance that the Hawks win tonight. It's just, it's a young team, chip on their shoulder. They're being doubted by everybody. Trae Young is just an amazing shooter. And, yes, he gets his cheapy fouls. Yes, until they change the rule, he's going to continue to do the shooter-initiated contact fouls. Yeah. That got mentioned in the comments earlier. I agree with you. I would like to see that go away. But while it's still being utilized,
Bogdanovich is good. Who would really could have used Bogdanovich? The Milwaukee Bucks, where he was supposed to go. Yeah. Every time I watch him shoot, I'm like, man, that Bucks really could use that guy.
Right.
But, So,
but the sad thing is, if the Hawks move on from here, do you think that they have a shot at a 7-game series against the Nets or the Bucks? I don't. I think this is the end of the line.
At this point, this NBA playoffs, I don't know because I don't know who's going to get hurt.
Right.
And that's the pathetic thing about this playoffs is I don't know game to game who's going to be hurt. Who's going to play, what's going on. I've never been more wrong or right or right on or right off about games in my entire life.
Right.
I just don't see it. Like a Phoenix team going into either Utah or Los Angeles. I mean, I didn't think there was a chance in hell the Clippers could beat Utah. In Utah. Without Kawhi Leonard. And they do. So, I mean, I don't know anymore, and I'm just, whatever. Right. Whatever happens, happens.
Do you think playoff P can get it done tonight for the Clippers?
Tommy mentioned something yesterday on the show that was actually a really interesting point. Paul George has always been kind of a better player when he is the on-ball person, 100% the guy. He's never figured out how to be a Robin, so to speak. That's what Tommy said. And that watching that game the other night made perfect sense.
The problem is he's not a great Batman.
It's just...
He's a decent Batman.
Yeah,
I mean, in the scale of Batmans, he's like...
I mean, those teams he had in Indiana were taking LeBron to the edge.
Right.
I mean, and that runs. I mean, they didn't have... who else did they have on that team?
Right.
Like, Jesus Christ... Stevenson was the best player blowing into freaking LeBron's ear. Right. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't think there's any chance that the Clippers win again. But, again, I didn't think they could win.
But on the Batman scale, he's what? Which Batman is
Paul George is still a top 20 player.
No. Think about the actual movies.
Oh!
Think about the actual
Batman
movies.
Forever.
He's the George Clooney Batman?
Yeah, Batman Forever, which was...
Or no, Val Kilmer. That was Val Kilmer.
Yeah. Batman Forever. Actually, he's probably the Adam West 60s movie where they were like...
Oh, no, you take that back. He's higher on that list.
I don't know.
I think you're right.
Whatever the word Batman movie is in your mind is where Paul George would be in the Batman movies as a Batman.
I think he's the George Clooney. I think he's the George Clooney. He's not the absolute worst, but he's close.
Yeah. Kevin Beck said Clooney Batman, so yeah. We're going to go with that.
I think it's the Clooney Batman.
And I love how we went Batman references.
Who's the worst?
Who's the worst
Batman ever?
I mean, Adam West, right?
No.
I'm just joking.
No.
It's Val Kilmer without a doubt with a bullet.
It's Ben Affleck, and it's not even close.
Ben Affleck?
Yes, Ben Affleck is the worst.
No, Val Kilmer was the worst Batman of all time.
No.
Yes.
No, he was second worst.
No.
That's why I say that's
Ben Affleck wasn't that bad.
I disagree.
We haven't seen Robert Pattinson yet.
That's true. And I'm holding that last spot for you, Vampire Boy. Let's see if he sparkles in the sunshine.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson is Batman. What's next? Is Harry Potter going to be Superman next?
I mean, because Daniel Radcliffe isn't what you would say Superman material.
You don't know that. I didn't think Chris Evans was Captain America material. Now he's Captain America.
Well, he also, beefed up pretty well.
I don't think you could really put some pounds on Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Really don't. No, I mean Paul George, he could be a decent Batman, but he's not gonna ever lead a team to a championship. Can he beat the Jazz? I mean, he already did it in their own house.
I know.
So I'm not gonna say
I'm not gonna say they can't because I just saw it happen. That's the thing. Every time I think that something's gonna happen in these playoffs, it's been the complete opposite. The only thing that I've really gotten right in this playoffs was saying that Kevin Durant was gonna have a 50-point triple-double, and that was one game.
Right.
Other than that, I haven't really picked the best. The things haven't gone my way so far in these NBA playoffs as far as my picks. So I don't know. I'm just gonna watch. I just watch at this point. I'm gonna make some predictions. Each game, I'm gonna make my predictions. But I'm gonna watch. And if anything goes the way things have been going for me, whatever I choose, if you want to make some money, go the other way.
Right.
That's the way it's going.
Oh, gosh. Support for the Sportsocracy brought to you by Manscaped. Get on with the other 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. They are the best, the world champions in men's below-the-waist grooming. And they have precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. And, of course, they have launched the Lawnmower 4.0, their fourth-generation trimmer with the advanced skin-safe technology. And right now you can save like no other. At manscaped.com. Use our promo code Sportsocracy and get 20% off of your purchase, as well as free worldwide shipping. The advanced skin-safe technology cuts down on all of those little mishaps that can happen when you are in the bathroom doing your me time. It's look, we're all bleeders, guys, and you need this advanced skin-safe technology to guard you from any mishaps.
Just use one of those guys.
No doubt. And you can
take care of your balls.
Right. You can get yours today with the advanced skin-safe technology, the little 4,000K LED spotlight. So you can hit those really sensitive areas with some precision. You can get all of that and the wireless charging right now with the Lawnmower 4.0. Save 20%. Get free worldwide shipping right now using our promo code Sportsocracy at Manscaped.com. Manscaped.com, promo code Sportsocracy. Save 20%, free worldwide shipping. Your balls will thank you. Let's get into this no regrets for the NFL teams in this offseason.
It's kind of like my credo, you know what I'm saying?
No regrets.
No regrets. Not even a single letter, you know what I'm saying?
So this is an article on Bleacher Report. Christopher Knox wrote it. And it's basically every team in the NFL what they should regret doing this past offseason.
And what I'll do is I'll just go team for team real quick, say what I got to say, you grab something. There's a few of these that I 100% agree on.
Okay.
A few of these I just think are way off. So
First off, I'm going to say the first one on the article, the Arizona Cardinals giving $6 million to A.J. Greene for 1 year. I'm out. I cannot come into agreement with you on that at all.
No, I don't know why that's such a big deal. I think A.J. Greene still got something left in the tank. Can A.J. Greene be number one in this league? I don't know. He hasn't been able to stay on the field. But A.J. Greene is still he's not 40. You know what I mean? If he can get healthy, he's still a very good wide receiver in this league. And I think they're going to be, and for the amount of money they had to pay him, I'd give AJ Greene $6 million to come to my team any year. For the next couple years, I would.
It's worth the $6 million gamble for me to be able to have a guy who is, when he's healthy, one of the most consistent receivers in the NFL. I mean, there wasn't too long ago that we were saying, AJ Greene is on par with Julio Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. And he started having those foot issues, and it's really kind of derailed his career, so to speak. But this guy's always been a 100% touchdown machine as well.
But it's been kicking the can.
Yeah.
Kicking the can down the road on his injuries. And last year, he was healthy enough to come back and play. I believe. Yeah. They kept saying there's a setback. I believe he just didn't want to play against.
And I think there was no problem with Cincinnati. I had no problem with Cincinnati letting go or this. This is a stupid take. As far as
it took a while last year for him to get acclimated with Joe Burrow, but.
What this article is saying is that they could have used the money elsewhere, like especially trying to re-sign Hassan Reddick. Whatever.
Sure.
Atlanta Falcons.
I think your defense is going to be fine.
Yeah, they're going to be fine. The Atlanta Falcons said one is not doing more to improve the backfield. Who was out there? They got the best of the availability who was out there. When Chris Carson re-signed with Seattle, there wasn't anybody else out there. What were you going to do, re-sign Todd Gurley? No, you weren't going to do that. I mean, come on now. Mike Davis has shown he's had the ability to be one. He did really good in Carolina last year. And I think that's behind Mike Davis. I don't know if there's a single running back that I even know of on the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, for God's sake, I thought Brian Hill was still on the team, which he obviously is not. They re-signed some they said undrafted free agents, J.V. Hawkins and Caleb Huntley. Yeah, I don't know who those guys are.
Yeah.
Maybe they got a gem in there. I don't know.
J.V. Hawkins was pretty good. I don't know how he'll translate to the next level. I'm not the scouting guy.
Yeah, I'm sure Jeremy would know who they are.
He was a decent running back. He went to Louisville. He was pretty good.
Yeah. Baltimore Ravens is saying letting Matt Judon and Yannick Ngakoue get away. I agree with the Ngakoue. I'm not so much on the Judon. Letting both of them go was kind of, I agree, but it's Baltimore. Yeah. Baltimore, it's next man up. Or we just drafted someone that's going to be better. Yeah. Baltimore has proven time in and time out they're probably a top 5 franchise without a doubt in this league. They're going to be continuously good no matter what happens, always. And then we move on to the Buffalo Bills failing to address the tight end position.
There's still time.
I'm still on they're going to get Zach Ertz train. And it's not like Dawson Knox is a serviceable tight end.
Right.
It's kind of like they're looking at the fact that New England signed 2 of them when they wanted 1. I think is what they're talking about. Buffalo's loaded. I'm not sure that's that big of a deal. This hits home for me. And I know this narrative has been out there, but Carolina's is going all in on Sam Darnold. They didn't really have to give up that much for Sam Darnold. And they got a 23-year-old quarterback who still has an opportunity to prove himself in this league. And they're giving him a year to do it. They can still get out of this. Like Sam Darnold could be a just object failure, and they can get out of it, and they start over again. Do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not. We talked about it. Sam Darnold would have been the number 2 quarterback in this draft, whether he was there. So drafting a quarterback or getting him here isn't that big of a deal. And I think you're going to have. I think Sam Darnold is going to have a really good year.
To me, that's more based on what else is there to regret about the Carolina Panthers offseason.
Right.
You don't have anything.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that you can point to and go, that was a gamble.
I'm not huge on Chuba. He can be serviceable.
You know what, he was taken in the 4th round?
Yeah, I know.
Take a flyer on that.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
why not?
Because if Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, that's what you're going with.
Yeah. I'm going to take my chances with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, again, that goes back to the situation we just talked about. Mike, there wasn't any running backs out there. There was none. Yeah. There was absolutely no running backs to be. When we were doing our off-season free agency, we were like, this is really, really bad. Who else are they going to take?
Right.
Chicago Bears is releasing Kyle Fuller. That hurts.
You'll regret that.
What I think is more. I think they should have. Re-signed Mitchell Trubisky. I know that's going to sound crazy now.
I mean,
but
you could have got him for $2 million, like the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So
Like, it's not like I felt like that's something they could have been like, Mitch, let's be clear here. Things aren't working out so well so far.
Right.
But we want you on this team. And ask me this question. Would you rather have Andy Dalton or Mitchell Trubisky?
Oh, Mitch. No doubt.
I think I agree to a point. But, yeah, I don't know. That sounds crazy to people, but I think that's going to be, and I think in the long run they're going to regret drafting Justin Fields as well. But that's another time for another
story. I disagree.
Cincinnati Bengals. We've driven this point home, and we all know what this one is. Passing on Penny Sewell. 100%. Every single. Yep. I mean, when we put out any Cincinnati Bengals video, the first thing people say are, "Oh, these guys are just obvious Bengal haters," and Penny Sewell is the best player that's ever played. Yeah, he's going to be really good. He's going to be an All-Pro, and he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. And you passed on him for a wide receiver.
Right.
When you had two already good wide receivers, T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are already there, and I'll say Auden Tate to jump on Jeremy's bandwagon with that.
Right.
It's not like they didn't have those things. Again, I can see them going for to appease your quarterback and blah, blah, blah. But you know what else appease a quarterback? When he doesn't have to have knee surgery every offseason.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing that out there.
Yeah, just pointing that out there. I wanted to skip down a couple of teams here because I don't really see anything worth talking about with Cleveland.
No.
Larry Ogunjobi.
No.
I don't care.
No.
Skip down to the Denver Broncos. Passing on a quarterback in round one. That, no doubt, to me, is something that they're going to regret.
Yeah. I mean,
because they don't have a solution. They don't have a long-term solution. They're in this sick, mucky area of we've got to try to trust
so it was
hope that Drew Lock does something in his final year, and we may not even give him enough leash to prove anything. And then we're going to go to Teddy Bridgewater.
I have this feeling that when the news broke around Aaron Rodgers, that they 100% thought that they were going to be able to get him.
Maybe.
And I do. I honestly believe it. I thought for some reason, because remember that narrative? It was pushed hard. Real hard. And it didn't happen, and then they got Teddy, and then it's like, okay.
Okay. If you had to put a percentage on it, do you think the Denver Broncos will ever get Aaron Rodgers?
Absolutely not.
0%.
0%.
0% chance.
I mean, I can't say 0% because I don't know. This whole situation in Green Bay just gets murkier and murkier by the day. I 100% believe Aaron Rodgers is going to play this year for the Green Bay Packers. I can say that with certainty this year. Next year, I'm not sure I can say that.
Okay. So
then rethinking, is there ever a chance I'd maybe put 10% on there?
Okay.
I don't know if he would go to Denver. I think he would probably go. I could see a path where Trey Lance is that good, and now somehow he ends up in San Francisco.
He ends up in San Francisco.
I don't know. Or Las Vegas. You know.
Yeah. I don't know where he's going to end up.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to end up staying in Green Bay.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a relationship that's going to smooth over. I don't know that he's going anywhere this year.
Yeah.
Next offseason, all bets are off.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's probably like 30% chance that the Denver Broncos are able to snag him away.
Yeah.
Don't know. It's not going to be this offseason. I don't think he's going to be traded. I think Green Bay realizes he's the only shot they have to win this year. Remember when I said the window's closed?
Yeah.
The championship window has closed for the Green Bay Packers? That's my belief.
Yeah.
They don't believe that.
No.
And I'm not saying they should believe that. They have been in the NFC Championship game the last 2 years in a row. I don't think Aaron Rodgers will ever win another Super Bowl. And I don't think he's going to do it.
That's because you think Tom Brady's going to play for the next 5 years.
No, absolutely not. I don't care.
Awesome.
No. How old is Aaron Rodgers?
He's not as old as Tom Brady.
No. Is Aaron Rodgers Tom Brady?
He's better than Tom Brady.
I mean, physically.
Yeah.
He's got the physical tools.
Yeah. Right now.
But he doesn't win. That's the thing. Like, he doesn't win. He's won one championship.
You don't think that Aaron Rodgers out of Tampa Bay would have won a Tampa Bay?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Okay. With that kind of cast around him, sure he could win the title. Do I think he's going to end up in a situation like that in the NFL, though?
No.
What open situation is there other than Tom Brady calling it quits and Aaron comes down to Tampa Bay?
God.
I'm just throwing it out there. just going to say. I mean, say
Tom Brady wins another
Tommy has the undefeated season, and he walks away with the second trophy and says, you know what, I'm done. And Jason Light goes, fuck it, we'll just keep kicking the can down the road. Money doesn't matter, we'll bring Aaron Rodgers down here.
I love you, man. I really do. I love you.
I knew you'd dig that. No, but that's the thing. Yeah. Unless he ends up in a position like that, I don't think that he's going to win a championship.
No, I don't know. I still think Green Bay can win a championship this year.
They could. Yeah. I don't believe they're going to. Yeah. But I think Green Bay knows.
Yeah.
That's the only shot that they have.
Yeah.
So they're going to do it one more time. And then they'll probably trade him next offseason. And if, at that point, the Denver Broncos are able to swing some kind of a deal, which I'm going to say I doubt, then, okay, they shouldn't regret taking a quarterback this year.
Yeah.
But that's like a 30% chance.
Yeah.
I think they're going to regret not taking a quarterback.
It sends me to either they thought they could get Aaron Rodgers or somehow someone in that building still believes that Drew Lock can be a good quarterback.
Well, you could have had Justin Fields, and I think Justin Fields is going to prove to him that
Detroit's saying that they're going to that pass on quarterback as well as a problem. They got Penny Sewell in the first round. What they're saying is more in the second round, not getting like a Keelan Mond or a Kyle Trask. I don't know. I still think Jared Goff's decent enough to be a quarterback, and they're in the sweepstakes for Sam Howell next year anyway.
Right.
And then Green Bay's, we know it's Aaron Rodgers, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to talk about that. Houston Texans not trading Deshaun Watson earlier. I agree with that 100%. They're not going to get nowhere near the amount of value that they could have got for him earlier than that.
Yep.
Colts not adding him another wide receiver, 100% agree with that. The only thing that I can think of is that they think that Paris Campbell's finally going to be healthy. Because, I mean, you keep hearing this guy's name, and year after year, and he's supposed to be doing something. But I agree. I would have liked to have seen them make a move to get it, because this was a pretty deep wide receiver free agency class. The Jacksonville Jaguars with the Tim Tebow experiment, they're going to regret that. I know it. It's going to happen. And I would say hiring Urban Meyer is another one.
Right, because the only way the Tim Tebow thing doesn't end up blowing up in their faces is if he actually makes the roster.
Yeah.
And then once he's on the roster, then you got another set of problems.
Then that's going to be a shit show. They say Kansas City not letting go Mitchell Schwartz. They added 1,700 other guys. I just don't agree with that. Las Vegas taking Alex Leatherwood in round one. I would say it's more of just releasing 3 of your 5, getting rid of 3 of your 5 offensive linemen before you drafted Alex Leatherwood is probably the problem. Right. And then drafting 17 safeties. But that's just my Raiders hate coming out, I guess, because that's what German tells me all the time. You know, apparently I hate the Raiders.
I mean, you do.
I don't like them this year.
It is the one team that you are the most down on.
Am I though? I just don't think. I just don't think they're going to be a playoff team. They're going to win 5, 6, 7 games. That's it. I mean, from what the vitriol that I get for them is like you got basically everybody else saying that the Raiders are going to be a playoff team. They're not.
Right.
They're not. It's not going to happen.
Right. They could be. I mean, greatest season of all.
Yeah.
They'll be a back-end playoff team.
Yeah.
And get bounced in the first round.
We moving all the way down here to the Miami Dolphins, not getting a running back.
Yeah.
Going with Myles Gaskin.
I feel like they had their hearts so set on Aaron Jones, and then when Aaron Jones ended up re-signing with Green Bay, it was like, all right, well that was our one shot.
Well, then they didn't address it in the draft either. I didn't know. It just seems like, oh, okay, I guess we're going with Myles Gaskin.
Right.
So I can agree with that. Minnesota Vikings, it says missing out on Justin Fields. I don't know. They got Keelan Mond in the second round, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But anyway, we all thought they had probably the best draft. One of the best drafts.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I think you're going to see that. New England Patriots not trading Stephon Gilmore. Hold tight. That's going to happen.
This ain't done yet.
Yeah, that's going to happen pretty soon. The New Orleans Saints not naming a starter quarterback early.
Stop that. We know who it is. Move on.
Yeah, move on from that.
Good Lord.
Just take a wild guess of what the New York Giants' biggest regret will be.
This is really why you pulled this list, right?
Why? Why? The New York Giants' biggest regret is going to be drafting Kadarius Toney in the first round.
Yep.
I mean, what was the last need that we needed?
I love that.
Oh, my God, yeah. The New York Jets, well, I'm just moving on because that's just too funny.
The New York Jets' biggest regret is not signing a veteran quarterback.
Calm down. Nick Foles is going to become available, and he's going to be in New York. Guaranteed.
We all know the Eagles. They
Peterson, Wentz, and everything. Steelers letting Alejandro Villanueva go to a division rival. That's probably, Or how about kicking the can down the street for the last couple of years with Ben Roethlisberger and having his arm just completely fall off? Mm-hmm. That's more of my thing here.
Oh, my God.
This is the dumbest one of all. San Francisco 49ers is letting Nick Mullins get away. I don't know who this guy from Bleacher Report is. That's not that big of a deal.
No.
I could see that being that they traded away a lot of picks to get Trey Lance, who is an unproven player.
Right.
Or... what?
That could be their biggest regret.
What? Nick Mullins? Okay,
no.
Stop.
No. Just almost completely believe in Trey Lance.
Yeah. Nick Mullins, it doesn't matter. Seattle Seahawks are saying waiting to extend Jamal Adams. They're going to, big surprise, Jamal Adams wanting to sit out.
Okay, now do this one.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers re-signing Antonio Brown. The only reason that could become a problem is if Antonio Brown doesn't handle Antonio Brown things. Mm-hmm. He didn't seem to want to do that last year. No. I think Antonio Brown knows where he's at in this point of his career. Antonio Brown is going to have an incredible season this year.
Yeah.
I'm saying that. Yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You can't stop them. You can only hope to contain them. As the NBA Jam used to say, you can't stop them. You can only hope to contain them. We're not going to double team Mike Evans. We're not going to double team Chris Godwin. We're not going to double team Gronk. Antonio Brown's in the slot. Give me a break.
Money. It's money.
I hate it.
He had what? 6 touchdowns last year?
Yeah.
In limited time? 8 games is all he got to play with Tom Brady. Took them a little bit to get familiar with each other. Yeah. They looked pretty good down the playoff stretch. Yeah. He scored 3 touchdowns in the playoffs, I think it was. Scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Antonio Brown, to me, is not a regret.
Nope.
Now, if he does, if he does stupid things and gets in trouble and can't be on the field, then sure, it'll be a regret.
I just don't see it happening. Jeremy would agree with this one 100%.
But here's my thing. Why would you go out on a limb and say that could be a regret if things go badly, as opposed to saying, that San Francisco getting rid of all that draft capital for Trey Lance? That couldn't be a regret.
Yeah. So dumb. Okay. Tennessee Titans, Jeremy will agree with this, overspending for Bud Dupree. Mm-hmm. Jeremy said a lot that guy lived off having C.J. Watt as the other side of him. Yep. We'll see what happens. I think and the Washington football team is releasing Morgan Moses. I don't know. It seems like the Jets could probably land Morgan Moses, which I think is a better thing for the Jets than it was for Washington losing Morgan Moses.
Right.
To be honest with you. But, he was a starting offensive lineman in this league. Mm-hmm. You do have Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback.
Right.
I think Washington's biggest regret just goes back to more Dwayne Haskins, and that's going to continue to haunt them for eternity, for a little bit.
But, every team's going to have moves that they could possibly regret. Obviously, I like to live by the motto of no regrets.
No regrets.
You made the best possible decision. You made the decision you thought was best for your team in that scenario. Did you screw it up sometimes? Yeah, you did. Look at the Chicago Bears and how they handled their quarterback situation. They panicked and went out when they couldn't get Carson Wentz, and then ended up bringing in Andy Dalton.
And then tried to trade the entire future of the franchise away, the entire future away. It was like 5 number ones and 2 players for Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Russell Wilson didn't happen. Yeah, Andy Dalton came in.
Yeah.
And then you got Justin Fields was there available. I think they did the right move there.
I do too.
I think that was the right call at that time. It was the only thing that was going to give you promise for the upcoming season, and they knew it. And they're absolutely lying about Andy Dalton still our number 1. Yeah, sure he is. Okay, whatever. We're going to get into the U.S. Open out in San Diego. We're going to get into some fantasy football stuff as well. But since we're having these technical difficulties, we're not going to stretch it and have a long show today. We will be with you this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Thanks to everybody who stuck it out despite the technical problems.
We love you guys.
Wish we could have done more to help out that situation.
I'm just glad that it wasn't something we did wrong, that it was like just something that needed to be redone. If Jeremy was here, he could have fixed it. I agreed, but it wasn't like we did something wrong. Or maybe it isn't. He was just being nice in the comments and he's going to let us know what we did wrong.
Absolutely. I can't wait to hear it after we're done here. But thanks to everybody hanging out with us for the Friday edition here in the Sportsocracy. We will have a much crystal clear edition for you on Monday morning. Enjoy all of the festivities over the weekend. The U.S. Open, we got Game 6s tonight in the NBA. We got a Game 7 over the weekend, possibly 2 more Game 7s in the conference semis. Enjoy the weekend, and we will be right back here in the Wicked Weed studio Monday morning. Check out our friends at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing, drink different. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Brian Haynes, and we will see you next time.